So here you see an analog clock. That means it's a face clock with numbers on it from 1 to 12. So as you can see on this clock, there are no hands. This is on purpose because we're going to be talking about how we can use fraction vocabulary to tell time. So our last unit, we were learning about fractions. We learned about halves, we learned about thirds, and we learned about fourths. We can actually split our clock into different fractional amounts. So the first way that we can cut our clock is that we can cut it into two parts by drawing a line from the 12 to the 6. And when we cut something into two parts, we call each part 1/2. So in a different color, I am going to write 1/2 on each side of my clock. Now, as you can see, this side is 1/2 of the clock, and this side is 1/2 of the clock. You might have heard grown-ups say that half an hour has passed. So that is actually what they're talking about, is from the top of the hour, an actual half an hour passed. This half of the clock has passed away. So if we count by fives, just like we did last week, we will see that half an hour is 30 minutes because there are 60 minutes total in 1 hour. So 60 minutes in 1 hour. Oops, my pencil broke. So 60 minutes are in 1 hour. So in half an hour, we can see there's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, if we skip count by fives. So in half an hour is 30 minutes, which is half of that hour, because 30 plus 30 will give us a total of 60 minutes. So if each half hour on the clock is 30 minutes, and mins is just minutes in short, if we add those two half hours together, we get the total hour. So we can definitely say that half past, let's say it was 12 o'clock, half past 12 is when 30 minutes has passed 12. So that's why we use that language when we tell time sometimes, because you can make the clock, you can split it into a fractional amount. The other fractional amount we're going to talk about on the clock today is if I draw a line now from the 9 to the 3, because now I have cut my clock into 4 pieces. 4 pieces gives me fourths. So 4 pieces gives me fourths. We can also call fourths quarters. And if you think about money, there are 4 quarters in a dollar. So 4 quarters make one whole thing, one whole clock. So if I use a different color so that we don't get confused, this piece here would be 1/4, and that would be just this piece. If we are looking at this much smaller piece, this is 1/4. We can also call it 1/4. That's how we talk about it on a clock, 1/4. So then this would be 1/4 or 1/4 of the clock. This would be 1/4 or 1/4 of the clock, and this would be 1/4. So there are 4 quarters in an hour. And we use this when 15 minutes has passed from the hour. So we could say 1/4 past 3, because 1/4 of the clock has passed when 15 minutes has passed. So 5, 10, 15. So after 15 minutes, 1/4 has passed. We can also say 1/4 to the next hour when the minute hand is on the 9. we're going to talk more about this when we do some activities today. But I just wanted you to understand here that the clock is cut into, it can be cut into halves where you have 2 pieces, and it can be cut into fourths. All right. So each larger piece is called 1/2, and each small piece is called 1/4 of the clock. So keep that in mind as we do today's activity. I'm going to leave that up there. So we're going to start off with some words that we really need to understand. This is some fraction vocabulary. This is one you've all seen before last week. This is o'clock. So this is when the time is exactly to the hour. So what do I mean by that? For example, if I were to show you on my Judy clock, I have a very large Judy clock, so bear with me. So on my Judy clock, as you can see, the time is 5 o'clock exactly because the hour hand is on the 5 and the minute hand is on the 12. So we use the term 5 o'clock when it's exactly to the nearest hour, to that hour. So half past, this is what I was talking about when we're talking about half an hour passing. So that half hour passing a time. So if I were to show you 5:30, half past 5 would be 5:30 because half of the hour has passed. Okay, so 5:30 would be 5:30 because half of the hour has passed. Now, if I were to show you the next card, we also have 1/4 to. So in this case, I would have to move my minute hand to the 9. So it would be 5, this is 5:45, you might recognize it. But it's also, we can say 5:45 or 5:45 because we only have a quarter until we get to 6 o'clock. That means 15 minutes until we get to 6 o'clock. All right. And the last one is 1/4 after. So this would be, if we started at 5 o'clock again, 1/4 after means a quarter has passed 5 o'clock, 15 minutes has passed 5 o'clock. So 1/4 after would actually be 5:15. It's the same exact time. So 1/4 after 5, we would call this. So I'm going to move the clock for now. And we're going to think of this fraction vocabulary. And what we're going to do is we're going to do some activities. So I'm going to place these up here. If I were to show you, this is kind of similar to your activities that you're going to be doing today on Nearpod. So pay close attention so that you know how to complete them really. So basically, we have on this card written 5 o'clock. This is written out in word form. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write this in digital form. I know the number 5 would be written as the number 5. And o'clock tells me it's to the nearest hour. So I'm going to put a double dot to put it in digital time, and meaning no minutes has passed that time. So I know this is 5 o'clock. Now, 5:30. I know that half of an hour, right, is 30 minutes. That's what we discussed earlier. So I know that my minutes that have passed this hour are 30. So I'm going to put them in my minutes section. 5:30. So that means it was 5 o'clock and half an hour has passed. So it's now 5:30. So what about 2:45? It's 1/4 to the next hour. So is it 3 yet? No, it's not. We're getting close to 3, but we're not there yet. So that means it has to be 2 because 2 comes before 3. 2:45. So I know if I get my clock over here, 2:45. So if I go up to 2, 2:45 would mean that we're getting close to the 3, but we're still 15 minutes away. So I know this is 2:45. So I'm going to write down 45. So if you're having a tricky time doing this activity just from your brain, go ahead and grab your Judy clock and make the time first from the words, and then that'll help you write it down in digital form. So 6:15. This is similar to 3:45, but instead of 2, you will see till. Sometimes time is said that way. So 6:15 means it's not 6 o'clock yet. It's a quarter until we get to 6. So it is 5. This hour is still 5. And it's 45 because we're getting close to 6, but we're not there yet. We're a quarter away from 6. 10:15. So this time it's saying after. It's not until or to. So that means it's definitely 10, and it's 10:15 because a quarter has passed 10 o'clock. So it's now 10:15. You might see instead of quarter after, you might see it written quarter past. So 5:15, it means the same thing as quarter after. It means 5:15. Okay, so the second part of your activity, you might see something that looks like this. You're going to see a time written in digital time, and you're going to have to write it in word form. So this is 7 o'clock. I know this because no minutes have passed from 7. Oh, I forgot to write in word form. So I'm going to write 7 written out completely. 7 o'clock. All right. Now, that was an easy one. We're going to look at this one. So I know that 15 minutes has passed 2. So I know that's a quarter because 15 minutes is that quarter time that we talked about. So I should write that here. A quarter is 15 minutes on the clock. So it's a quarter past 2. Oh, and I should write that out. Excuse me. 2. Quarter past 2. It's okay if you write in number form. I'm trying to have it all written out in word form. So this is going to be one of our quarter to or quarter until, because we're getting really close to the next hour, but we're not there yet. We're 15 minutes away. So quarter, I'm going to write 2 because I like to use that term. And this is 8:45. So the next hour that's closest is 9 o'clock. So 8:45. I should write that out in words, like I said. 8:45. And then the last one we're going to be looking at today, and I'm sorry for the longer video today, there's a lot to learn, is half, because 30 minutes is half an hour, half past, because it passed from the 4. So this is called 4:30. So if you're having trouble during the activity today, friends, please come back and rewatch the video and see how it is I'm thinking through each conversion, meaning going from either digital to word form or word form to digital form. So good luck with your activity, friends. I'm sure you'll be super successful. Don't forget to look at your clock in fraction form today. Bye for now.